Hello everyone, welcome back to Anonymous World. Hope you're all doing well. So this is the second episode of Security Talks, and today I have Aarushi Koolwal with me. So let's get started.
Hello,
Hi,
hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
So good.
Chalo, बढ़िया है.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for joining me today for this episode. I'm very honored to have you here. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
how about we start with you giving a small introduction of yourself?
Okay, sure. Hi everyone. I am Aarushi Koolwal. Experience in cybersecurity. I started my career with a company called Not So Secure that specializes in pen testing. Then I moved on to CloudSec, and I have been with this company for almost 2 years now. Here, we basically, focus on digital risk protection and attack surface management. And I have transitioned in various roles. I've worn, various caps, but then currently I am the lead risk consultant for the vendor risk monitoring product that we have.
It's
So,
great. It's great to know a bit about you. So fascinating. So, how did you kickstart your journey in cybersecurity? Most of the people run for software engineering, software developer. So, how did you got interested in cybersecurity domain?
so, for starters, I am still an undergraduate. I'm yet to get my degree, so I sort of did my BTech in a specialization that has cybersecurity. But if I talk about how I started knowing about cybersecurity, I was in 10th grade in school, and I came across this brochure which was related to cybersecurity awareness, basically for women, on what all cyber crimes are going on with women, and it was released by Kerala Cyber Police. And I got so fascinated after looking at it because digital adoption by people who are not very good technically. So some people will be very, technically able, but some people won't exactly know how to, use technology to the best. So I thought that this is a very good domain to explore. And I sort of started exploring more in cybersecurity at that time. And after I did my plus two, I thought that, okay, why not go for cybersecurity itself?
That's great. So, I how I started in this domain, I saw some people doing game hacking and earning some coins. So
Hmm.
that's how I got interested in cybersecurity.
That's nice.
Uh, so there are so many domains in cybersecurity like weapon testing, network testing,
Yeah.
etc. So there is something threat intelligence, and you are working as a threat intelligence analyst also.
Mhm.
So what actually is threat intelligence, and how it is different from vulnerability assessment or vulnerability management
Yeah.
process?
So when I first came across threat intelligence was through one of these people on LinkedIn that I connected, and he sort of gave me an introduction to what threat intelligence is, and that got me really fascinated because till that time, what all I looked at were very reactive measures, as in an attack has happened or some attacker has abused a vulnerability, and then a security team is looking at it. Dealing with offensive security, but from the very beginning I was more interested in defense. So what I thought was, okay, when I first learned about threat intelligence, I was like, okay, this is a very proactive measure, a, and second, it's customized according to your needs. So for every organization, right, let's say a big bank, or let's say a B2B service company, a travel agency company, or let's say some application you have that helps you order food, right? Everyone would have different sort of needs for being more proactive in their security, and threat intelligence can sort of help you look at each one of them according to what you want, right? And it can be customized according to you and can help you take proactive measures. And these proactive measures would not only be just be like, okay, this might be exploited in the future, and so you should fix it now. Rather, what threat intelligence can help an organization with is make policy level changes and make organization wide changes. Because when you observe patterns, like, okay, five of my employees got compromised by downloading cracked software from this specific website. Okay, so I'll go on and make a change in my SIM software, and I can make a policy on whether you can use corporate emails on your personal computers. So overall, it helps people to strengthen their securities, fixing them, updating, patching, etc. That is what vulnerability management is, and threat intelligence is a more proactive and more futuristic approach to security.
So like creating a threat model for your company and then
Yes.
acting.
Mhm.
So what are some common types of threats or categories of threat that an individual or an organization faces?
For organizations, there can be multiple threats, but it totally depends on the organizations. To start with, some of the threats can be insider threats, as in one of your employees is leaking your own data. Second would be, things like credential breaches, or let's say a computer got infected with malware, which has a lot of your internal code, etc. So an attacker can get access to that. When I look at threat intelligence, right, I look at it with a perspective that what can be the initial access vectors, or what can be the indicators of attack whenever an attack is happening. Because you also have done pen testing. In the first two phases, we go on and recon on the target. We do a basic level recon on what all subdomains are present, what all ports are open. So once you have a view of what all subdomains are present, you can sort of then go and try to get initial access. Just to understand different types of threats, I look at it from the first two stages of an attack only. So, it can also be related to brand. That is something I've worked on a lot. For like almost one last year, I have focused a lot on brand threats, because brand threats, phishing and social engineering might sound a little, like, oh, that's okay, that's not a big of a threat. But the way it impacts, the company's brand reputation and stock prices and whatnot, can lead to a very big level business impact. So brand threats is something I've worked on. I have worked on, banking malware was being distributed through Trojans and other sort of. I worked on this report that was around a printing scam. So, certain group of scammers were sort of doing what identity theft by stealing Aadhaar card and PAN card information.
Yeah.
So various types of threats, and then there are, of course, infrastructure threats and vulnerabilities that we look at from an attack surface management perspective. And another thing that I have been recently exploring is third-party risks, because a lot of companies do not do, let's say, development or DevOps or even security in-house. They will outsource it to some other vendor, and then they have their whole system with them. So managing that is again a very important risk. So I've been looking at it for quite a while now. So yeah, that is another risk that can be looked at.
Yeah, so people often underestimate social engineering and phishing, but social
Yeah.
engineering is used in major of the attacks.
Yes, exactly. If you look at Uber attack, right, it started with social engineering, as in getting access is one thing. Then there was 2FA on that specific employee system. So at that time, the attacker used social engineering to get into it. So at the end of the day, a big company like Uber, who is running all sorts of bug bounty programs, gets compromised through social engineering as an attack vector.
Mm. So so how threat intel differs from OSINT?
OSINT is sort of looking at open source intelligence, as the name says itself, right? So whatever is available on the web for, let's say, a company, or a certain group of people, or an organization, or an individual, whatever is available freely, open source, anyone can access on the internet. That is open source intelligence. So it mostly helps in attribution of an attacker or a threat actor, or even individuals and organizations, right? But in threat intelligence, we are not just looking at surface web. We're looking at dark web. We are looking at deep web. Deep web might be, certain Telegram channels. Recently we saw and these groups would ideally be communicating everything, or organizations they might target in the future in Telegram groups. So looking at a holistic perspective, looking at multiple sources is what threat intelligence can help an organization with. So it becomes a more comprehensive view of your external facing assets, rather than just looking at a specific thing that is available on the web free.
So you talked about dark web. So how does it play a crucial role in threat intelligence, and how an individual or let's say organization team can monitor that the dark web?
Yes. So when I started my journey with CloudSec, right, I worked as a dark web researcher for 4 months. So in that role, I used to, try at different forums and look at um, different threat actors, how groups are being, targeting certain countries or organizations. What I understood was, and this is often a missing link for organizations, right? Let's say a new CV comes in, or 0 day comes in, right? But no one has its exploit, let's say, right? But then on these dark web forums, if one of your sources is present, and that person is in contact with all these threat actors, they might get an exploit somewhere and they might start exploiting it already. Right now has been targeting a lot of organizations. Recently targeted two of the biggest corporates, PwC and Deloitte. Clop ransomware was basically exploiting MoveIt, which
Yeah.
was a vulnerability released 1 month back. And they just found one server, which is a move it as a file transfer server. So they found vulnerable servers and they attacked it, and that is how they got into it, right? But let's say the day move it was released, there was no exploit available. It came after some days. All these things are propagated ideally on these forums itself, because there is a group of threat actors. They also get like-minded people who want to do bad stuff. So it's a connecting ground for these people, right? So having a source there might be a very interesting thing for organizations, and can help organizations be proactive. For instance, if certain people came to know about exploits about MoveIt being released on a certain Russian market forum or something like that, they would have been more proactive, and they would have been like, okay, I'll fix it just now. So they will understand the criticality because it is being discussed by attackers, threat actors. And even ransomware groups will have accounts on these forums. So they'll arrange quizzes like which organization should we target next. So which industry, which country should we target next? Because for them this is a game, right? And they have made it a business as well, right? They have started ransomware as a service 2 years back. So being proactive in this industry-wide, you know, industry-wide statistics and industry-wide tactics you can gather from these forums. Let's say another energy company, or oil production company is targeted, and I am also, let's say, a CISO of some other private oil and energy, ONGC sort of company. So what would I understand from an attack that has happened? I'll understand how, let's say, the initial attack vector was again social engineering. So I'll make sure that I go to my security team and look at how we are looking and how we are tackling these things in our organization, so that I can be more proactive that way. Hence, industry-wide and nationwide intelligence is something you can gather from these forums. And third would be, to understand how certain attackers are working, which we call adversary intelligence. So picking their mind, if sources can pick their mind and understand what all they have. Are they using a specific tool? I observed like 2 years back only, while I was in that role, there was a specific threat actor on a English language forum who used to release three SQLIs every day. That I have an SQLI on this, I have an SQLI on this. Later, when when my source engaged with that threat actor, I got to understand that, okay, this guy has some tool, and then he's using that tool to scan companies according to revenue. So I have your organization can be targeted in the future. So, which is a very good perspective to your security.
So, dark web is a hub of information, and you need to stay undercover and make connections, join groups, and gather the
Yes.
data there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what you prefer, a manual approach of threat intel is more useful, or an automated approach?
No, automation is definitely the best thing an organization can invest especially at this time, right? With ChatGPT coming in, people being more adaptive to technology and learning faster. Automation can reduce a lot of human tasks, and it can empower your current analyst team or security team to get things done faster, so that they can focus on bigger things that for now cannot be automated, like gathering insights on 5 attacks that happened in your organization. That is something you'll need a person who understands the organizational structure to deal with. But then it can help you go faster. And I have seen in my team as well, right, automating things has been so good. It has reduced a lot of human efforts, and we are now able to focus on things that actually need deep dive research, or generate good level and good quality research because of that. Because all our manual tasks, all our grunt work can get automated, so we can look at interesting research, or giving talks at different conferences, etc., etc. So automation is definitely something that it is a must have skill now, and it's not like a good to have, it's a must have for any job, for any if you are not even looking for a job, right, you should go on, pick up a language and then start learning how to automate.
So, just make it your hobby and learn
Yeah.
automation. So,
Totally.
you talked about ChatGPT, and before ChatGPT also AI was there, but after coming ChatGPT, it has grown much, and all sorts of video AI, image AI, and everything has came. So,
Yeah.
how AI and ML affect threat intelligence, and are there any disadvantages of that particular?
Is AI ML to leverage cybersecurity and threat intelligence. So I'd never say that there is a downside to AI ML being integrated with cybersecurity. But then one thing that I have observed is that so let's say you are a normal developer and you want to debug your code. Ideally, what you will do is you will give your entire code to ChatGPT and ask it to go through it and fix the bugs. That code might be having your authorization secret, your authorization token, your API key, your username, password, hard coded credentials, and whatnot. And you are just giving it to an AI. So, for these things, right, for these specific things, policies need to be set up. Users need to be more proactive in hiding the information, and sort of not giving in the secrets. But then yeah, I think awareness is the biggest thing that can happen in cybersecurity. So from that standpoint, having AI might be bad for an organization's security. But if you look at how it can be integrated with threat intelligence, it can do wonders, right? It can help you predict things, it can help you analyze things, help you gain insights on and visibility specifically on your shadow IT. That is, you were not even aware of certain things, and through threat intelligence you are able to look at that. At least you have visibility now. So what organizations is, they will have vendors, they'll have let's say an organization is using Slack, right? So Slack also becomes a vendor. You are getting your food and I don't know, your water supply from a specific company, that also becomes your vendor. So how many vendors, and imagine a big organization like a big bank, how many vendors they would be having for each and every technology that they have, right? So threat intelligence along with AI ML can help you look at all of them, gain visibility at all of them, so that you are more aware of what can be a risk to you or what might be a threat to you in the future. So yeah.
So, but an individual should be most aware that he or she is not giving any sensitive information to some AI
Yeah,
bots.
that is a must. Yeah.
So, do you recommend any basic or bare minimum strategies that an organization must follow to avoid such?
No, I think a gap that I have observed. in all these times interacting with in-house security teams is most of the organizations now have a lot of teams. There will be one SOC team, there would be one red teaming sort of place set up. There would be a compliance and audit team, DevSecOps, etc., etc. But the basic coordination between all of these teams is lacking. And let's say one team, let's say a SOC team came to know about getting cracked software and being getting compromised. Often they won't try to communicate that to the, let's say, the policy setting up team or the compliance team, so that they can modify their policies, or they can ask their SIEM team to sort of not allow accessing certain domains. So that communication and the internal lubrication between teams is something I see that is lacking for even bigger organizations, Indian organizations outside India. But this is something I've seen which is a major gap. So I think a better communication strategy between teams, and not just security teams, right? Another thing that I've observed is often developers and quality assurance engineer would pose threats to their own organization. Let's say I have the main code base of my banking application and I've left that entire repo public. Now anyone can access it. Anyone can see my API keys. Anyone can see what vendors I'm using, what partners I have. Anyone can sort of try to get customer details through it if sensitive keys are leaked. That is a mistake a developer has made, and often these developers won't be in-house. That would be some vendor that the security team might not know of, right? So I think the integration of all these different teams is very important. Setting up policies and let's say if you are a test engineer or if you are a QA, any role you are at, having a security focused mindset is something that can help organizations and even big corporates. So that is a gap I have observed.
It's your first, every employee should be self-aware and at
Yeah.
what they need to do or not.
Yeah.
So, talking about vendors and the flow of goods, so what exactly supply chain management in the field of cybersecurity, and how it is being monitored? And is it crucial?
Yeah, so as I said before, right, supply chain monitoring is now a need for a lot of organizations. Recently, I was at Null Meetup Bangalore, and we were having a talk around digital risk protection only. And I asked if I asked him a question in the audience that if your company has any vendors. So there was a guy at the front who raised his hand, and I asked him, so how many vendors does your company have? And he said 1,500. Now imagine 1,500 IT vendors. I'm not even talking all these water supply and food vendors, just IT vendors. Imagine having 1,500 IT vendors and you are sitting at a CISO's position. You have no idea what contract was there. You have no idea when this contract started. So gaining visibility to that is a very big thing. And let's say, a very important vendor also, you won't understand, or the board of directors or CEO won't understand that, okay, this was a vendor's mistake, or you didn't have visibility to it. At the end of the day, your brand is getting targeted because of it. Your reputation is going down, and if you are a very big company, your stock prices might also go down. Board of directors would be angry and whatnot, right? So security incidents often lead to that, and gaining visibility to these incidents is very important, so that you are proactive about, okay, this is a vendor who handles my payment solutions or my delivery solutions. So these are the assets that they have for us, and how where are they storing it, how are they sort of transferring it to me. All these things you can get a good look at, so that once your vendors are secure, because see, at the end of the day, people like to highlight their primary customers on their website. Any company would do that to get more customers in that industry, right? So an attacker can also come to know. Tomorrow, if there is a attacker sitting who finds a good public bucket, public S3 bucket, which has all your important files, and he goes to the website of that specific vendor and finds that, okay, this is a customer. So they can target you indirectly, right? And you have no visibility whatsoever because that is a vendor. You are not sort of monitoring it. That is how sometimes when we see very big attacks, right? Let's say, Big Basket, or I'll take Cisco incident that happened. They all start with a compromised employee, or Big Basket incident, for example, started with hard-coded secret. So in their application, there was a hard-coded AWS secret. So, I mean, that someone took up and then exploited it to get all the customers' data. Now people's trust in the brand gets eroded, because when that happened, I was like, okay, this I should not be using this app. It's compromising my own details. That it will have your phone number, email, and whatnot, right? And then again, that information can later be used for OSINT when someone is trying to target me or my organization, right? So hence gaining a visibility at all of them becomes very important, and getting a managed solution for them becomes important, and that is sort of what I've started working on as well. So yeah, that is pretty much around supply chain monitoring.
That's great. So even a one small thing can lead to compromise all the organization.
Yeah.
So you started your career in cybersecurity at a very early stage. Like you said you are not even graduated yet. So how can a fresher gain experience in this field, like taking a course or one-on-one coaching, reading blogs? So according to you, what's the best method?
So when I started around it, right, first year of my college, I was going through what all college was providing me, just understanding, CIA triad and all these basics only. But then the second year, COVID happened, and I got on LinkedIn. And I explored that, okay, there is a whole new cybersecurity world here. There are professionals who are ready to help you, mentor you, and guide you. And I think mentors have been the stepping stones of my career, because wherever I am would not have been possible without my mentors, right? And these people are also having certain communities. Like, you must have seen, the communities are very, very strong in cybersecurity. Avnal, OWASP, there are certain communities like Breaking Barriers for Women, InfoSec Girls, Pisces, etc. So all these communities can actually help you network better. Because something that I have observed is, you are, sort of as strong as your network is. If you have a very good network, you will get to learn more, because what happened to me as well, right? I was just working around one product and working around a certain set of customers. So after a point, my perspective became very narrowed, right? But then I went to conferences, I met certain people, and it again widened. I was like, okay, oh, I have to look at all these things as well. These things are also interesting. So when you are well connected with these peoples, and when you have mentors who can who can guide you around your career, that would just be the best thing that you can do. Career would be a very good step that you can take. When it comes to figuring out which domain you want, you can try exploring, rather than taking up courses or taking up certifications. Try to understand. Okay, if I take up red teaming, what sort of job roles are there, and then go on LinkedIn and read the job descriptions. Do you really want to do this like 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day? If you really want to do this, then connect with people who do this. Understand, reach out to them. You have to be a little, opened up about that, and you have to be a little, shameless on that note. Reach out to 15 people and be like, I want to be, where you are. Can you please help me on what you do on a daily basis? And out of those 15 people, at least two reply, and that's from my experience. From every domain, I've seen at least two people or three people would reply to you. So you can understand, okay, this is the kind of role that is there, and then sort of start taking up courses, certifications, and whatnot. Because I have often seen what freshers do is, okay, five other people are doing this certification, I'll also go and do that. This company has this certification in the requirements, so I'll also take it up. But then I think that is a very wrong approach somewhere or the other, because you do that, and then figuring out what you'd love doing in a job role is something that will be very important. So go on and read job descriptions rather than doing courses directly, is what I'll say.
So better if you first explore the path, then hunt for mentors.
Hello.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying it's so first explore the path and then hunt for mentors and then
Yeah.
imitate them.
Yeah.
Talking about certifications, are they really important for getting a job in this field?
So, see, it totally depends. And I have talked to a lot of people, and I've always got mixed opinions around this. See, there would be two types of companies: one who would list the certifications in their JD, and ones who will not. Right? If you see Cloud Six, job descriptions, they would not even ask for a bachelor's degree because. Here what I have seen people believe is if you have the right amount of skill set and if you are good fit culturally, we'll be more than happy to hire you. We are not looking for a specific certification or you should have like 12 years of experience or something for freshers, right? But then certain companies would prefer going on certifications because they trust them more because this person knows all these things better, so it's good enough for me. What I personally believe is if you have a very specific career path that let's say you want to become a DevOps engineer or you want to become a cloud security head, something like that. So you go on and do all the certifications, let's say around AWS. There are a lot of there is a hierarchy of certifications there. You do CISSP, I want to become a CISO. So I'll do CISSP, I'll do CISM, then I might do CISO. So that is the career trajectory that I have planned for myself, and I'll do those when the right time will come because CISSP itself requires 3 years of experience, right? But then just going on and doing a certification because it was mentioned in a job description is not something I agree to. And I would not recommend also personally because, see, if you have the skills that are listed in that specific certification, if you have those skills and you can demonstrate them well, both on your resume and hands on, any good company would be very happy to hire you, and that's the that's the sign of a good company that will help you grow and that would always believe in you. So they won't need a proof. Okay, if you can demonstrate it well, and if
Yeah,
they think in the interview that you have the knowledge for that, they'll simply hire you. They won't need a pen and paper proof, right? But then certain companies and mostly corporates, will have this requirement that you should have OSCP or the certification, that certification. But it totally depends on the career path you have chosen for yourself. Is what I believe.
so it's entirely depends on the organization.
Yes.
So sometimes happen that a person may have knowledge level up to OSCP or some other sort, but he or she can't afford that due to money because they are so expensive, and in that they get rejected or
Yeah.
some gets.
Hmm.
As you said, that networking is very important for a fresher, and I think it is also
Hmm.
important for seniors too. So, what role does the conferences play in this, like B-sides or Nullcon? And as an individual, what he or should aim at a conference?
So I've been to Copon, I've been to B-sides. I spoke at Copon as well last year. One thing that I have observed on conferences is the talks would be amazing. You should definitely attend the talks. You should definitely go on and listen to people because that is something they have researched on and they are trying to demonstrate 3 or 4 months or even years of their research in like a 30-40 minute talk. So you get a lot of knowledge just from a talk, right? But then, while that is a very important part, another thing is you get to meet a lot of people in the industry. So it doesn't matter if you are a fresher, a college student who is looking for a job, you are a professional who has a good 5 years of experience, or even if you are a very high level management person. Meeting people at conferences will always open you up around what is actually happening in security nowadays. Because when we are working for an organization or if we are working for a specific sort of domain, our mind becomes constrained to that. But when you meet people, right, people would help you understand, okay, this is not the only thing that's present in security. This is something that I've always wanted to do because I want to become a CISO someday. I want to explore each and every domain. I don't want to be, just specialized in one domain. So I sort of want to be maybe jack of one and master of all, something like that. So if I have to do that, I'll have to network with people who are in different domains. And someday, I'll have to switch my domain as well. So networking in conferences can help you gain a lot of can help you like a booster for your career, right? That you used to get in games and everything, because people, I think, people being so good is one of the best thing about especially Indian cybersecurity community. I've seen people helping out, these there would be 12 years experience, 15 years experience people who would be mentor to a lot of people, and they'll always be ready to help you out, find a job or learn something, or they'll provide you resources, help you in any way possible, or even refer you to other people who can help you. So there are people out there who can do that. So it's definitely worth to sort of meet them, network with them, gel up with them. So yeah, it's a very important part. I'll definitely recommend attending any such community conference, especially.
Give a great amount of exposure,
Yes.
especially to a fresher.
Yeah.
So, will you be attending any conferences like C sites, Nalcon, or B sites, Ahmedabad?
Not sure as of now, but let's see.
Okay, even though people have experience or a lot of skills, but they still lack in career. So, uh, how you think that soft skills like communication and teamwork help an individual to grow in the cyber?
Mhm. See, one thing that my mentor has always told me, and what I've always seen results for, is that let's say I know certain things about a certain domain. Let's say OSINT, mobile number OSINT. I know there are 5, 6 tools. Know how to use them very well, and I have a process set up in my mind. Now that's the knowledge I have. Let's say I'm not sharing it with my colleagues, with my friends, with other people in the community, so then it just becomes restrained to me. Now, let's say I'm a student searching for a job. A recruiter won't come to know that, okay, there is this girl sitting in Bangalore who knows about all these things, right? So until I don't publish it in some way, people won't, or I talk about it in some way, people won't gain visibility to that. Ki, okay, yeah, she has knowledge in that domain, she specializes in that domain, right? So making a brand image of yourself today, people are working on, people have whole businesses set up for, improving brand images of businesses. So why can't you, sort of work on your own brand, and whatever you know and whatever you can do, you should sort of go on and do it without trying to be that good. If you have amount of knowledge, and if you think it's good enough, and if you think it's, correct in some form, it's good enough for you to publish it in any way. And it can be different mediums, right? It can be through blogs, it can be through a YouTube channel like you are doing with it. It can be through LinkedIn posts, it can be anything that you are comfortable with. And then, is something that has helped me boost my career a lot, because I'll study about some domain, or I may do some research around something. When I talk about it to people, right? Like I gave a talk some days back, and my mind opened up so much about things, and I had a more solution oriented mindset now. And that is something you need to be a leader, right? A solution oriented mindset, rather than just highlighting, okay, there is one problem there, there is another problem here. So when you talk about it, or when you even publish about it in some way, you'll have more insights on it. Because there would be, see, we are, again, you and me, we have just started, but then there would be people with 11 years of experience who would have seen this, 8 years back or something, and they would be like, okay, this is how you can go about it. So all these things will only happen when they come to know about it, or when you share about it, right? So hence, I think representing yourself through communication becomes very important. And even when you get into a job, right? Let's say you know about certain things, you know that there is a vendor who is bad, or you know that there is this problem. How you communicate to the stakeholders becomes very important, right? Hence, communication will always be a very important, and soft skills will always play a very, very important and crucial role in your career, especially in cybersecurity, because we'll often have to translate things to stakeholders who would not know very much about security. And we'll have to translate it in a way that we get our things done. We get things, actionable, so that we are able to make some change organization wide and even nationwide. So that is why communication becomes very important.
So it's at the end, it is very good and fruitful to give back to community or show yourself to community in any way.
Yes, totally.
So in recent years, cybersecurity is rising and it will rise in coming years. So how do you see the job market evolving for cybersecurity professionals in coming years?
No, I think for cybersecurity, right, while there is a good amount of job demand, there is a skill gap that is observed. Because a certain company might want a person to be skilled in certain aspects or certain domains, and a person would not be having that. And I'm not just talking about freshers, even for experienced roles or even for a CISO level role. So there's a huge skill gap right now. How we can fix that is, what my take on this is that we need to make ourselves available to companies more. So again, like what I said last time, right? We need to showcase ourselves better so that, because I've seen this for freshers as well, right? I've seen resumes of people and then they would be very generic, and then they would have done one internship that thousand other people would have done. So how will it make a difference on your resume? Why would a person hire you? So at the end of the day, your resume should have one unique thing that makes the recruiter think, okay, I'm getting a person for this role, but he is also very good in this. So it will be a plus point. That is how you differ from the rest of the candidates. And you have to be more understanding and accommodating for the job role, rather than you going on and saying I am experienced in all these things, I have these three certifications. Doesn't matter. If the role is talking about a certain set of things and you don't have it, you'll not be hired. You might be a very good driver, of the best driver ever, you are driving racing cars and everything, but then if they want to hire for a chef, they won't hire you. That is how simple it is. So that is how the job market is gonna be. And whenever especially candidates understand this difference, it would help them to get a job faster, is what I think.
Yeah, so one should gather a skill set according to that particular job description
Yeah.
instead of gathering irrelevant information.
Yeah.
That was very great information. So how about we wrap it up with some quick tips for freshers coming into cybersecurity?
For freshers, right? I think I've interacted with a lot of college students as well. I think one thing that you can do is gain as much as hands-on experience, and get to know what you don't want to do. And it is just not for. I'm not just talking around cybersecurity or tech. Learn a language, go and explore something even non-technical, attend business conferences or any free event that is happening around business, because I attended a couple of events, and then I was like, okay, I might also want to become a business information security officer. So try to explore as much as you can. And because what it will help is, especially when your first job is in a startup, you have to do a lot of things. You're because if you go into a company like Google, when you're hired there, you'll have a very customized set of things that you have to do. You have to look at just one specific thing and you're going around that. But then in a startup, you have to do a lot of things. You can't prevent it, right? So once you do all that, you'll be able to explore that, okay, this is something I don't like at all. This is something I like a lot. So you can explore that, right? It's like painting something and then you're like, okay, I draw very good mountains, but I'm really bad at drawing birds. So you'll be like, okay, I'll make more portraits and then gain for yourself. So don't deter away from exploring roles or exploring certain domains. Even if you think that, I often thought that bug bounty is something I will never want to do, but then I'm here now exploring it. I've started exploring it, because why not give it a try? No, if not now, then when, right? So give it a try, and I think try to get a mentor, because my mentor, I mention him every time I talk with someone. My mentor was Anand Srivastav sir, and the kind of help that he has given for my career is just commendable. And I just can't explain how much he has helped me, not just cybersecurity wise, but then otherwise also, growing as a professional, he has helped me a lot. So try to get a mentor who can totally, who can help you grow at the end of the day, and to whom you are accountable to if someday you have just stopped pursuing things, right? So try to get a very good mentor. Try to get into more community events. If you are in cities like Bangalore, Bhubaneswar, Ahmedabad, there are null meetups happening everywhere. Try to go to these community events. Just listen about other domains, even if you are not interested in it. Just listen to their talks, how people talk, right? You'll just learn a lot of things, and don't ever be a little scared of reaching out to people or giving a talk on something, publishing a blog. I always had this in my mind, right? That okay, I'm giving a talk and I'm just a a fresher. How am I giving a talk to all these professionals? But then one of my mentors helped me understand. See, there are people who have 11 years, 15 years of experience in your domain and who are sitting and attending your conference. They are not, going and submitting a paper and start to talk on the topic. You are the one who thought of that and who took that initiative. So that is why you are the one who is, like preferred to give a talk rather than them, because you're taking initiatives for it. You want to share your knowledge to the community. So don't ever be a little scared that okay, I am not really sure. People will correct you. This is a very, very good community. People will always come out, help you, even if you are wrong sometimes. People will come out and help you. So when I understood that, right, I stopped telling everyone that I am an undergrad, I am an undergrad. I started telling everyone that I am a 2.5 years experienced professional. So that is how you should look at yourself as well. Start exploring things in security. It's a very good domain.
Yeah, so exploring is an essential thing in any career.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
It was really great talking to you, and I hope my audience will also enjoy this session. And I will drop down your socials in the description so they can connect with you and ask any queries, or maybe you will be mentor for everyone there.
Okay, okay. Thanks a lot for inviting me. It was really nice talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.